Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here. If you love scrapbooking and want to learn some new tips and techniques, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Before we dive into creating the page, let's take a look at the supplies I'll be using today. This month's kit includes 12 sheets of double-sided pattern paper featuring stunning designs and floral embellishments. You can now purchase all of the items individually, which is a great new option on the HIPKIT site, or you can purchase the paper pack, embellishments, and cardstock as a bundle. I'll be working with the March main kit and cardstock collection today. I'll be incorporating these cardstock florals, some of which are stitchable, cardstock die cuts, tags, foam buttons, puffy shapes, and glitter foam elements. One of the great things about HIPKITCLUB is the exclusive products in each kit that you won't find anywhere else. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend it. Subscribers get free access to exclusive cut files each month, 2 of which I'll be using on this project. To get started with cut files, head on over to the HIPKIT site. You can find them in the cut file shop or directly under the March HIPKIT section. As a subscriber, I get these files at no additional cost, but if you aren't a subscriber, you can purchase them individually or grab the full bundle. Once you have added them to your cart and completed your purchase, you will find your files under My Account in the Downloadable Products section. You're going to download the zipped file, extract it, and then you're ready to upload them into your cutting software. Today, I'll be using Cricut Design Space to prepare my project. In Cricut Design Space, I've uploaded the Hello Spring title and the floral elements. If you would like to use either of these cut files, I have added links to them in the description below, along with a list of supplies that I'm using today. Off camera, I changed the color of each of the images to represent the materials that I'll be cutting. I'll be cutting these from the March cardstock collection in the variety of colors you see here. If you need a list of the colors I'm using, you will find it down in the description below. Now that my pieces are ready, I'm going to start building the background for my page. I have trimmed off 2.5 inches from a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock so that this can sit centered on a piece of floral paper. My photo is going to sit in the lower right and the title will sit right beside it. The flowers from the cut files are going to be arranged in 2 rows on the background. You can mix things up by using white cardstock and adding mixed media elements for more depth. You can also cut these out of pattern paper. If you do not own a cutting machine, you could replicate this look with the stitched floral dies. So I've already gone ahead and adhered all of the florals to this background. I used liquid adhesive because I am adding some stitching. Liquid adhesive works best because double-sided tape will gum up your sewing needle. Many of you have asked about stitching on scrapbook pages, so I'm going to share a few of my favorite tips. I like to place a piece of craft foam under my paper to make piercing easier. An embroidery needle works well, but if the needle is too difficult for you to use, a die removal tool will also pierce holes neatly. Cotton embroidery thread works best. Most embroidery thread has 6 strands of cotton thread. I usually cut off about 18 to 24 inches. For these florals, I'm going to be using 3 strands of thread. I'm going to separate these apart. Before I thread my needle, I like to run my embroidery thread through embroidery wax or beeswax to prevent fraying. Embroidery wax comes in a lot of different containers. It's inexpensive and it lasts a long time. I prefer to use a size 12 or size 14 needle, depending on the number of threads that I'm using. I also like to use a needle threader. It comes in handy, especially for me because I have larger hands and old eyes. When I'm creating these embroidery stitches, I do not tie a knot at the end of the thread. Usually I will weave it in with the other stitches, or I will tape it in place with some clear transparent tape. Adding a little knot could create little bumps on the back of your layout. I'm starting with back stitches along the flower stems. These are very simple to do. Now, if embroidery is something that you're interested in and you want to learn how to add more to your projects, I do have a couple of videos here on the HIPKIT channel. There are also lots of websites and books that are available. I've gone ahead and added the rest of the stitching embellishments to the flowers. As you can see, this really enhances those florals and adds some great texture to the design. This other stitch that I'm going to use is called a French knot. I'm going to be using 6 strands of thread for this stitch. Let me zoom in real quick so that it's easier for you to see. I've brought my needle up from the back of the layout, and I'm going to pull my embroidery thread off to the left. Now I'm right-handed, so if you're left-handed, you'll pull yours off to the right. I'm going to bring my needle towards the front of the thread, and I'm going to wrap the embroidery thread around that needle 3 times, nice and tight. We're going to go back down into the hole that we came up through, and we're going to carefully pull this tight until we create a nice little knot. Now that all of the stitched florals are in place, it's time to add some finishing touches. I'm going to bring in 2 border strips that I cut using a HIPKIT die. I cut these using the boho lace border die. If you don't have this die, you could fussy cut one of the borders from this pattern sheet here. I decided to use a lighter blue for my borders because it matches the shirt my daughter's wearing in the photo. I like how these borders create a nice separation between the pattern paper and the florals that I added to the background. To frame my photo, I used the same color of blue cardstock that I used on the borders. Behind this, I'm going to layer a fun snapshot frame. I'm also going to add a little tag here. There's quite a few horizontal pieces on this page, and adding a vertical element is going to create some nice stabilization and balance. Right now, my photo isn't really the focus of the page, and I need to add something that's a little bit bolder to really make that photo pop. These larger pieces of pattern paper are going to guide the eye towards the focal point on the page. The stitching is also a horizontal pattern, which helps lead your eye across the photo. To make the Hello Spring title pop, I'm going to layer floral die cuts around it for added depth and dimension. I chose some of the larger floral pieces and I'm layering them in place with some foam tape. Before I place them down, I am shaping these florals slightly just to give them a little bit of dimension. If you want to, you could add some stitching to this die cut word, or you could bring in some ink and add some color. Right now I have a lot of weight on the left side of the page, so I want to bring a little bit of balance over on the right. I'm just going to add this large blue butterfly to the corner of my photo. Around this butterfly, I'm going to tuck a couple of florals. I found 2 small flower elements in the die cut collection, and I'm going to bring in the puffy stickers and grab this small little yellow one. Now, since I added that puffy sticker texture to this side of the page, I do want to bring some of that texture over to the other side. I'm just going to bring a little bit of the black from the tag and the photo around my florals here. And I'll bring in a couple of tiny little flower shapes. I'm going to add a few finishing touches to this layout, and then I'll share the completed page with you. Off camera, I added some blue twine stitches on the borders. This frames the page nicely. I also scattered some more butterflies throughout the page. This brings some more of that darker blue to the top of the layout and creates a nice visual triangle that leads your eye to the photo. For more ideas using the March Hip Kit collection, join us in the Hip Kit Club Facebook group, where you'll find inspiration from fellow scrapbookers and design team members. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions about the project or the supplies I used, feel free to post that in the comments below. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.